Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. Doing this video because so many of you people asked me specific questions that I didn't have the answer to at the time. Now we got the answer. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Ruger Americans. If you're a deer catcher like me, Ruger American, standard, this is what they look like. We got hundreds of videos on them. Well, last week they announced the Generation 2. I called my FFL down there at Tolliver's and said, have you heard of these? They said, yeah, we got some coming in today. You better get on them quick. And I picked up this 7mm 08. So this, if you hadn't heard of it yet, Ruger announced this is their Ruger American Generation 2. You can see there's quite a bit of few differences, but you might be surprised at how many beans this will take out of your pocket as compared to this one, the standard. So what I done, I put together a chart so that I don't get to rambling too much, keep me on track, and we're going to talk about the specific differences between this and this. One thing that I just thought of, got a bunch of comments. A lot of y'all said, did they fix the flimsy stock? Well, I never considered the stock of the originals flimsy. And let me also preface this by saying, I'm not sponsored by the people at Ruger. I picked up both of these with my own money and all that. I don't have any reason to say they're good or they're bad. But a lot of y'all said, is the stock flimsy? So let me just squeeze this, if I can get it on camera. A lot of y'all said, oh, the barrel touches the thing when you really load it. So can I squeeze it like this? Yeah, so I can. I can make the stock touch the barrel right there. I've never had a problem with it. I've got videos with pretty much every single one of my Ruger Americans getting like same hole groups. I forgot to turn this camera on airplane mode. I got people blowing me up. They're making me lose my focus. Now it's on airplane mode. But apparently a lot of y'all like to put it on a bipod and really bear down on it. When I use a bipod, I don't bear down on it. And some of y'all like to do that. But let's test that same thing. Hold on, let me be right back. All right, so my camera was acting funky, but I'm back. So that one, Generation 1, we can squeeze it and make it touch. Can we do the same for this one? Now that's taking quite a bit of force. Like if I had a bipod on here, you would really have to put all your weight down on that to make it touch. And I don't understand why you'd want to do that. Now let me just real quickly compare that to this one. If it takes about the same amount of force. This one looks like it's closer to the barrel from the start, doesn't it? Yeah, so that doesn't take near as much force to make it touch the barrel. But anyways, that was probably the number one question from you guys. This stock does feel quite a bit sturdier. This particular one is sitting further off the barrel. And it takes a lot more force. I would be surprised if I could even put a bipod on there. I mean, I'd pretty much have to probably lay my whole body weight on there. But that's the number one thing that you guys asked about. But I'm going to run down the list. I made a chart. We're going to put it up on the screen. And we're going to talk about the differences between Generation 1 and Generation 2 of the Ruger Americans. If you haven't checked out WHOTEEWHO.com, definitely go check it out. We got stuff on there like these American flag shirts, bing bangs and boo lots. And these True Timber camo leather hats. I've worn this one every day for like a year. Starting to look like I'm actually wearing it now. But go check out WHOTEEWHO.com. We got all this stuff. I also got the newsletter on there. I'm doing free drawings all the time. All you gotta do is go sign up for the newsletter and you're entered to win a bunch of drawings from here on out. Don't cost you a dime. But let's pull up my chart here and talk about the difference between Generation 1 and Generation 2 Ruger Americans. We're just going to go right down this. Y'all can freeze it if you want to, look down it, or you can come along with me and we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail in this video. So, there's the model numbers. Of course, they're going to have different model numbers. The stock. Stock for the original, black synthetic. The stock for Generation 2, they're calling the Gray Splatter Gen 2 American, Gray Splatter stock. The sights, neither one of them had or have sights, but they do come with pick reel. Barrel length, here's where we're going to pause for a second. Also, If it's grayed out, it's the same between 1 and 2, and if it's yellow, it's different. That's what the colors mean. So, barrel length, here's where we're going to stop for a second and talk. If I put them on the floor, look a little bit different there. So, Ruger says the Generation 1 is a 22-inch barrel. Also, let me take a step back. They have ranch models that are shorter barrels. These are the standard Ruger Americans. So, that's what we're comparing, is the standard models, not the ranch models. Ruger says the Gen 1 is a 22-inch barrel. Also, mine are in 7mm 08. That's what we're comparing. I bought the new one in 7mm 08. 22-inch barrel on Generation 1. Ruger says that this Generation 2 is a 20-inch barrel, but they're actually including the muzzle brake in that measurement of a 20-inch barrel. You can't see it here in the camera. Actually, maybe you can barely. But the barrel actually starts right here, is where the threads start. You can see the crown right there. I measured this. The barrel is actually 18.75 inches. So this muzzle brake where the holes are is 1 1/4 inches. So really, technically, this is a 22-inch true barrel. And I would call this, Generation 2, an 18 3/4 inch barrel. But yeah, a lot of y'all asked me about that too. Generation 1 is not a threaded barrel. Generation 2, yes, has a threaded barrel. We just showed that. And it's threaded 5/8 by 24, like you might expect, and comes with a muzzle brake. Barrel material, Ruger lists both of them as alloy steel for the barrel material. Magazines, this is one that's different, and I'm going to test this out here. So, Generation 1, Ruger says is capacity 4. Now, does that mean 3 + 1, or does it mean 4 in the mag? I don't know, because I didn't test it. We're going to test it live here. I've just grabbed some of this nozzler off the shelf here. First one I had on top. And I got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the mag. Got 4 in the mag. So, it's kind of interesting. And they got stuck in the mag there. What's interesting is, Ruger says that the flush mag holds 4. So I would naturally assume that the magazine on the Generation 2 would hold more since it hangs out the bottom. But does it actually? Ruger says that this one only holds 3. Why would a longer mag only hold 3? Well, it doesn't have that rotating mag. It's just the straight up and down style. So, 1, 2, 3. Ruger said it only holds 3, and it only holds 3. So, kind of interesting. That's something that I would quite honestly assume that the Generation 2 would at least hold the same, if not more, but it doesn't. It holds less because it's not that rotating style mag. Even though it hangs down in there, I better clip it in there before I lose it. Here we go. Even though the Gen 2 hangs down lower, it holds 1 less. Might not have guessed that. I sure wouldn't have. So capacity is different. The new ones hold 1 less boot lot. The barrel finish, the original, they're calling matte black. And the Generation 2, they're calling gunmetal gray. So, matte black, Gen 1, gunmetal gray, Gen 2. What's next? I'm kind of skipping ahead of myself, aren't I? Let me go back. Lefties, I've already had questions too. Ruger doesn't have any of these lefties. And from what I can read everywhere, they're not going to make any of the Gen 2s in lefties either. Should have been right-handed. Barrel twist is the same. 1 to 8.5 twist, right-hand twist on both of these. I had somebody tell me the twist is different, but it's not. The twist is exactly the same. The weight, that's another thing you guys asked me about. Ruger lists the weight on both of these as exactly the same. So, shorter barrel, but it's a heavier barrel. 6.3 pounds is what they're listed at in both of these. That was probably the number 2 question. Overall length from Ruger is listed as 42 inches for these. The Gen 2 has an adjustable length of pull. You can see here. You can take that out. If you have that spacer out, it's 39.5 overall length. And if you have it in there, it's 41.25. So overall length is a little bit shorter if you have it in there. And then length of pull, you can see there, 13.75. This is 13.75 length of pull as it is right now. You can see essentially looks the same side by side, but you take that spacer out, then it's a 12-inch length of pull. And then at the bottom there, you can see the UPCs from Ruger. MSRP is just about $600 for these off of Ruger's website. And then MSRP for this is listed as $729, so $129 more MSRP on this. Street prices that I'm seeing is roughly $100 off both of these is what I'm seeing street price. So depending on where you go, these might be as much as these are, but I would assume you're probably going to give a little bit more than this. But yeah, street price, these used to be under $300 on sale, but again, that was 10 years ago. My grocery bill is doubled what it was 10 years ago too. So you know how it goes, supply and demand. They're going to charge as much as people are willing to pay for things, including the Bullock slingers. But I hope that answered some of you guys' questions. Again, the big difference is this is a heavier barrel, and it's a fluted barrel, and it's a shorter barrel. Holds one less in the pipe. Again, that's one that really surprised me. But yeah, haven't got groups with the Generation 2 yet. I'm going to try my best to do that this week. Should be pretty cool. But Ruger American, I'm a big fan of them. I'm assuming I'm going to be a big fan of these. We literally have hundreds of videos on Ruger Americans. Y'all that watch all the shows, you might be saying, I thought you traded your old 7mm 08. I did. This is actually my 308 standard. But the 7mm 08 is exactly the same, and they use the same mags, potato. But I did trade my 7mm 08 standard for this new Gen 2 in 7mm 08. What I'm trying to do is, when I can, is get things threaded so we can put shushers on it. Now I can do shusher machines on 7mm 08. We could test it, see how it sounds like, and hunt with it with the shusher on the end of it. But hey, hope this answered some of you guys' questions. I'm optimistic that these are going to fling them really good. But yeah, stay tuned for a whole lot more videos. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that you're following us on the newsletter. And go check out WHOTEEWHO.com for a whole lot more. We got blog posts up there and everything else. But I'm excited about these. I think they're only going to go up. Yeah, but stay tuned. I'm going to be at the range with this as soon as I can. Ordered some more bow lots for it. And yeah, it should be pretty cool. Also, don't have a scope on this one yet, but I showed you guys in the other video. This is the scope that I've picked to put on there. The Arken EPL4, 4-16 zoomies. It's got a turret on top, which means we can go take this thing out to 1,000 yards, which should be pretty fun. 7mm 08 to 1,000 yards. I think it'd be fun to do. Definitely will do it. But Arken, I started messing with them a little while ago. For the price, you just about can't beat it. Quite honestly, they're a lot better than a lot of the more expensive stuff I have. And for everybody on the WHOTEEWHO show, I almost forgot to tell you, Arken gives us 25% off their stuff. If you need an Arken, use the code WHOTEEWHO, and we get 25% off of everything. I think that is the biggest discount that anybody gives us, period, on optics. But stay tuned. I almost forgot to tell you one difference. The safety. This one is a 2-position safety. So, it's either on safe, has the S there, won't flang them, trigger's stuck, or it's on fire. 2-position safety. If it's on safe, the bolt can open and the action can open on the old ones. That's something that they changed on the new ones. It's a 3-position safety. So there's this way, which is red for fire. I'm going to go ahead and red for fire. Do it again. Then you've got the next position is, you can see that bolt can still open, and the trigger's dead. And then there's showing 2, which trigger's dead and locked, and it also locks the bolt. So a lot of people asked about that. Did they change that? Yes, they did. The old ones, it could be on safe and the bolt could still open. The new ones, they can't. But hey, that's all the stuff comparing Generation 1 and Generation 2 of the Ruger Americans. Appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to subscribe. Stay tuned for a whole lot more. Appreciate y'all watching big time. We'll see you on the next one. Hoo-hoo! Load it up.